Hell, hell, yeah, man. Hell is very much a real spiritual matter and very real place. Yeah, hell. As I get into depth about, hell, man. I mean, this stuff is truly not a game, and it's just not to be overlooked. That's what I'm saying. It's not to be overlooked. And hell is a very real place, and I'm just gonna get more in depth about hell. I mean, see, here's the thing about hell. Hell is it's very much active. There are many souls in hell. You know, there are many souls in hell and going to hell and all that deep stuff. And see, man, I mean, hell is truly for like individuals and beings that just, truly rejected God and rejected the love, his presence, rejected his people, rejected his kingdom. This is who hell is for. I'm being very real, And you see, I mean, yeah, Satan does play a big role in these things as well, too. I'm getting into all these things, But as I'm being led by the Spirit, yeah, I mean, hell is just truly, it is very much active. Once again, it's active, and it's a lot deeper than you know. And see, once again, it is for these certain individuals too, because God said that men would choose darkness rather than light type of thing, And see, that's the thing. This is not, women are not exempt from this either. I'm being very real, and any other being, And see, the thing about this stuff is that hell is truly consisting of like, more or less, yeah, of course, fire, spiritual fire, and just like, this is not a game is what I'm saying, because, we're talking about your soul being tormented, and, and then, hell is not the end for a lot of individuals either. That's what you got to understand about hell, because hell is overall meant for, the demons and these fallen beings, these certain fallen beings with Satan and all that stuff. And see, hell, people go to hell due to like just a lot of different things they rejected concerning God and God's love and God's, I want to say like, just everything that God tried to do to reach these certain individuals and souls, overall just dealing with, once again, these certain individuals and souls rejecting his kingdom and rejecting his truth and just selling out to darkness and overall Satan. It has to do with why these certain individuals and beings be ending up in hell. I'm being very real, because hell is a very active place, and there is like this spiritual fire that is tormenting people, and the God of Israel is more or less in control of all these things concerning hell. I mean, because God created hell, and yeah, this fire is not good and all that stuff, and it's not going to be what people think. You will be getting tormented by creatures and demons, but see, hell is not the end for a lot of people too, and that's what you got to realize about hell. Hell is just like, it's a holding place for, I want to say, the wicked. But see, there's other people who are wicked and even beyond wicked, I want to say too. And they're going to be handed over to many other places concerning the spirit world that is dark by God. And yeah, I mean, the lake of fire too, speaking of this, yeah, I mean, that plays a big role in things too. But then there's many other dark places. But the lake of fire is, the end for Satan, more or less, as well too. That's what you gotta understand about this stuff. But just focusing back on hell, I mean, yeah, hell is a very active place, and people go there. People go there. That's what I'm trying to say. And it's dealing with a lot of people who reject God, God's kingdom, God's love, God's mercy, all this stuff. People who reject all that stuff and just don't want anything to do with God. They don't love God. And many, many, many other categories of people and souls. These people end up in hell because they reject God's truth. They don't want anything to do with God. They're not forgiven of their sins as well, too. Yeah, all that deep stuff. And these certain individuals, they keep rejecting him, and then God is not going to force you to follow him. That's what you got to understand. He's not. Free will is a real matter, and God, the God of Israel, is not going to force you or anybody to follow him. And that's the beauty in this stuff too, in a way. But see, the thing is, when you reject him, then what's left is the enemy. It's what you got to understand too, regardless if you believe this or not. And see, Satan doesn't have to do certain things to everybody. All he has to do is to get you certain individuals to reject God and God's love, God's presence, God's truth, and all this deep, deep other stuff concerning those matters. And then, Satan is just reeling you in, as I may have mentioned before, some form of way into his kingdom. And overall, the stuff is more or less preordained and predestined stuff right here. That's what I'm saying. But you still do have free will to choose God and love him sincerely. That's what I'm saying. You cannot be trying to use him to not end up in hell and all this stuff, because God already sees all that stuff. He sees through you people and me, is what I'm telling you too. And I'm going to be very real about this stuff. I mean, I'm not in that category. I'm really not, I've never been really either. But there is a lot of people who want to use God and all this stuff, so they don't end up in hell. And I mean, man, honestly, it just shows you who you truly are. Like, you don't really love God for God. And see, that's something that I'm just not a part of that stuff. That's all I can say. But yeah, getting back to hell though. Yeah, hell is there is fire, and this fire is not good or anything, is what I'm trying to say. This fire God created to torment souls in hell, for people who rejected him, people who just love sin more than him, is what I'm saying. Because we all do have sin, and I mentioned this too many, many times. But see, there's different things, there's different levels of sin, and then wickedness is a whole nother thing. And see, you certain individuals who are like just carrying out high level sin, and you have no intentions on truly like, not even so much intentions on repenting, but also just repentance in general. Your repentance is not genuine. You don't care about God and his kingdom, all this stuff in his kingdom. I mean, man, you're more or less a part of hell's agenda, and just a part of hell in general. You're a part of hell. You're going to be a part of hell. I'm being very real, because hell is, it even talks about too, like where the worm is not quenched or something in that nature. And there's going to be certain things just really tormenting your soul, is what I'm trying to say. Hell is full of just beings and souls that truly just rejected the real Jesus, rejected God, and just didn't want nothing to do with God, that type of thing. And then there's many other categories of people that are in hell too, and will be going, is what I'm saying. I think it talks about where the worm dieth not and all this stuff. So there will be certain creatures in hell and all that stuff too. And overall, it's dealing with people who chose darkness over light, is what I'm trying to say. That has a lot to do with the stuff too. Men love darkness over light, and women are not exempt from this either. And see, what you gotta understand is that these people's sins are not forgiven either. That's what you gotta understand too. So that's it has a big reason why people end up in hell. Because like I said, you cannot try to like use God for things or nothing. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, you have to be genuine in everything. And that's the thing about this stuff concerning things. And see, that's what I'm saying. Hell is just full of a lot of people who just truly rejected God's truth, God's people, God's kingdom overall. And these people just we're not we're not a part of God's kingdom. I'm just being very real. And these people don't have any interest in God. That's what that a lot of these people, blasphemers too, as I'm being led by the Spirit, blasphemers, mockers of God, just cold-hearted, and he talks about men's heart will wax cold and all this stuff. People who just wicked-hearted and evil and all this stuff. Yeah, these people will be in hell. That's what you gotta understand. And they are in hell, and they will be going. Many more souls and beings, and individuals, they will be going to hell. And once again, hell is it's a lot of stuff in hell that I'm trying to get into concerning hell. There are certain like cells in hell and all this stuff, depending on what certain individuals did too, that was not of God, that was like wicked, more or less too. Yeah, man. Because there are cells in hell, and like prison type cells in hell, and holding certain souls hostage, and they're just being tormented. They're being tormented. There is fire, and this fire is not good fire or anything. No, this fire is tormenting them. And there are creatures, and Satan is just laughing about these matters, is what you gotta understand. Satan is very much a part of hell and the gates of hell and stuff too. But this has nothing to really do with the gates of hell. This is just dealing with hell overall. Like these people are suffering and burning and screaming and shouting. And that's where I think it gets into about the worm dive not and all this stuff. And you people who just don't, believe in this type of matter, I already know you're not spiritual and all that stuff too. And more or less, you're on your way to hell too, being very real. It doesn't matter who you are hearing this. If you reject the real Jesus, if you reject God, and you're not, I want to say in repentance, because once again, we do all have sin, but there's just levels to the sin. That's the thing. And I'm going to be very real. If you're on a high level of sin, if you're doing high level sins, which I've mentioned many times, and I'll get into it a little, like just you're a snake, you're a hater, you're this like habitual liar. You're trying to just scheme people, and you're trying to, murderer, adulterer, all that stuff. Yeah. You are in the category of what I'm talking about as far as being a part of hell. I'm being very real, And that's why I'm saying hell is truly dealing with people who are not forgiven, too, as well, by the real Jesus, And people who just chose darkness over light is what I'm saying. Certain individuals and beings who chose darkness over light. But this has nothing to do with being perfect, once again. But it's just a certain like sincerity and purity you have to be in the spirit with God in order for God to spare you from hell. I'm being very real, because these certain people, they don't be getting into this stuff, but hell is real. And it is active, and there is much worse places than hell. There is much worse places in the spirit realm, what I'm trying to say, worse places, what I'm trying to say, in the spirit realm than hell. Hell is it's a very active place, but it's not, there is other worse places in the spirit world for people who are just not forgiven of sin, and who do not love God, and who reject the real Jesus and the God of Israel and all this stuff. The wicked will be a part of hell, though, and they are a part of hell. A lot of wicked people and beings and souls, and they will be a part of hell. I'm being very real. And Satan is laughing about this stuff because there are certain demons that will be raping people and all this stuff too. That's what I'm trying to say. They rape people and all this stuff, This stuff is not a game, because a lot of you people think it's a joke and all this stuff. It's not a joke, though. This stuff is in the spirit realm. And many souls are part of this stuff, whether you believe in this stuff or not. But hell is real. And this stuff is, yeah, it's going to, man, hell is just going to, I want to say, open its mouth to more and more people and souls and beings. And man, I mean, a lot of people just will be a part of hell. And there's nothing you can do about this, nothing I can do about this, but I'm doing my part concerning God's kingdom. That's it. That's it. Everything else, I'm not here to be perfect and all that stuff. But I've already broke down these things concerning this stuff. Hell is real. And yeah, many, many people will be a part of this, and souls and beings. So all that being said, yeah, hell.